Welcome.
Hello.
Skylar Grey is here.
What up?
We were just talking about Ken Bone.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Ken Bone is?
No.
You missed it?
What happened?
Did you watch the debate at all?
Oh, I try to stay away.
Yeah. He's the big fat guy with the red sweater and the mustache that asked a question.
Oh.
The internet's become obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you see the problem.
well, I'm going to have to check it out.
You will. You should check it out. And you're a good person to talk to about this
Oh,
because
sorry.
I think his internet fame that he's got now, I think he's letting it go to his head a little bit. And I think it's going to be harsh when it comes crashing down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that happen? Did you have to deal with any of that? Because you got signed to a music... Not you, Jim.
I didn't have to deal with that because nothing for me happened overnight.
Right.
But for people that fame happens overnight, it's very scary.
It is, right?
Well, how many years did it take you?
Well, I don't even think I'm famous, so...
No, you are. You are.
I've been doing music since I was 6 years old. So, yeah, it's been a long time.
But you got signed to a deal.
When I was like 17 or 18. I'm 30 now.
Yeah, when you get signed when you're 17 or 18, are you like, this is it? Like, did you think that would be the moment? Did you think the overnight fame was coming?
I guess kind of.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what a record deal was when I got one. But I was like shocked by it. I didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I thought that when I had a record deal that my life would just change completely and be great and everybody would just work hard for me and I would just be able to relax and write songs and that was it. But then I realized that I shouldn't have thought about it like that. And when you get signed, it's like the day you have to start working harder.
Really? So it's not like this team forms around you and...
I mean, they do, but like you have to lead the pack and like... work together and do a lot of work yourself.
Did you have complete control of it, or did they start taking control back?
Well,
not
when
giving
I
it
was
to you?
younger, I had less control because, I was like 18-year-old from Wisconsin with no business experience, and I wouldn't trust me either. But now at this point, second record deal, I've learned a lot of hard lessons, and I'm applying all that to what I'm doing now. So,
yeah.
Were you happy with how the first one did?
What's that?
Were you happy with how the first one did?
The first
record
album? Oh, back in the day, so that was 2006. I released an album called Like Blood Like Honey, and it was under my name Holly Brooke. And no, it didn't do very well.
So you were unhappy with the way... Yeah.
Well, yeah. And then it was partially my fault, just being green and stuff. And then I lost that record deal. And then I got a new one. And then I put out an album with that 3 years ago. With Interscope, and that was under the name Skylar Grey, which I go by now. And then I just released my new album, Natural Causes, like a few weeks ago.
Why'd you change your name?
Because I got a second chance in the music industry, and I just felt like I needed to reinvent and give it a different label.
So when you were younger and you hadn't really figured everything out, and you were thinking people would be doing things for you, and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Did you kind of get pushed out of the industry and have to come back in?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well,
you got pushed out.
Slowly, people started expressing to me that they didn't want to work together anymore.
Oh no!
My manager,
Were you a brat?
my lawyer. No, it's just I wasn't making anybody any money.
How did your manager? What a shit manager! What do they do? Call and go, look, it's just not working.
Yeah, and
Terrible.
It wasn't just like there's a lot more layers than that. I was kind of like talking to some other people because I didn't think he was doing his job.
Right.
I'm like, why am I not making money? It's your fault. You know what I mean? I was like trying to point fingers. And so I was talking to some other managers and he found out. So he was like, okay, bye.
Oh,
so
yeah,
yeah, because I was like, interested to hear what somebody else would do for me because I was like, maybe he's dropping the ball,
Yeah.
Well, he should have just said, no, look, here's what I'm doing for you. If he believed in you, he would have said that. So you got lucky by him dropping out.
Yeah, no, it ended up good, and I love him actually. Dan Dalton, he's a great guy. It was a kind of messy end, but we're good now. We're friends again.
Yeah, it's like every relationship. They always end like shit. There's a lot of bad blood, and then eventually you talk again.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you see young people now, because you do a lot of songwriting, like you do a lot in the music industry. So when young people are coming in, like, do you take on a kind of like mentor role, or do you just step back and be like, I don't need to get involved in anybody else right now?
If they ask for advice or help, then I'm willing to give it, but I don't offer it unless I'm asked.
Specifically asked. I guess there's nothing worse than somebody coming up and being like, "Kid, let me tell you how it's done." No, like,
Yeah,
get the fuck
I
out
don't
of
want
here.
to preach or anything. Plus, everybody's story is different.
Plus,
There's
you don't want to help your
no rules.
competition. I never. When people tell me like, "What do I do as a young comedian?" I'm like, always just do dramatic things. Never try to be funny.
That's funny too.
You don't help the up and comers.
No, I'm like spit in the booker's face. Show him who's boss. You never give him good advice.
Tell them all the wrong clubs to go to.
Yeah.
It's bad.
I do stuff like talk at schools and stuff though.
You do?
Yeah, like I've talked at Berkeley and just like other music schools, and I do like I give advice at those places.
Just giving like, and is the point of the talks giving people a more familiarity with the music industry?
Yeah. Just telling my story,
Yeah.
and hopefully they get something good out of it.
So is Holly Brooks your real name, or was that?
Yeah, Holly
okay.
Brooke is my middle name. My last name's Hofferman, and that's just not a stage name.
That's a dope name.
No.
New music from Holly Hofferman.
Holly Hofferman's a nice name. What's
That's like
wrong
a
with that?
50s name. We got the new single from Holly Hofferman.
Exactly. You see why I didn't use that.
Yeah, I guess.
So I went by Holly Brooke for a while, but then, I had like this whole, I lost my record deal, that whole thing. I had a whole life before Skylar Grey in the
Right.
industry. So when I came back, I was like, I'm going to call this something else. It's a different project. I'm approaching it totally differently, creatively, and all that. So,
You think Skylar Grey sounds cooler than Holly Hofferman?
well, I wanted to just be gray.
Just gray?
Yeah. Gray's my favorite color, and it's like it represents a lot in my
What
life.
shade of gray do you like the best?
Well, all of them.
Oh, I'm a battleship gray person.
That's you.
Okay.
I like a Heather Grey.
I've never heard of Heather Gray. No,
I
I'm not
like
gay.
fog and like gray skies. So
Yes.
whatever that is, and it's kind of a mixture of a lot of different grays. I think.
And how's Skylar? Oh, is that kind of like a sky thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, because you like gray
Yep.
sky.
And so when I quit the industry for that time period, I lived in a cabin in the woods in Oregon by myself, and it was like super
By
gray all
yourself?
the time. Yeah.
Why?
Oh, you took like a Unabomber route.
I know. I did actually.
Ted Kaczynski
I had
was the
some
former
really,
owner.
I had some really unhealthy thoughts out there. No, I'm kidding.
How long were you alone in the woods for?
Pretty solid for like 4 months.
Jesus.
And
Weren't
then
you nervous?
I went back and forth between there. No, I was at first. For the first 2 weeks, I was kind of nervous because there's a lot of mountain lions, and so I had to walk to my cabin. Like it was not on a road.
Right.
So
Where'd you find the cabin?
it was like my mom's friend had this property that she bought after her husband died of a brain tumor, and she won like a lawsuit of malpractice or something, and bought like this huge piece of property, and there's like just little buildings scattered on it, and
Oh,
she
I
like
see.
let me use one of the buildings. So it was a blessing. It was awesome.
Imagine being lost in the woods and you finally come upon a cabin and Skylar Grey's and they're like, wow, there's a blonde in the middle of the woods. This is amazing.
awesome.
You think it was a setup. Like, oh, this is fucking this is a TV
I had to
show.
go outside to use the bathroom, and it was really rustic.
Yeah, it's fun, though.
Super rustic. But
Like you
yeah,
just pissed
super
in the
fun.
woods?
No, there was a bathroom, but it was like outside. I had
An
to
outhouse?
walk to it. Yeah.
Oh, you used an outhouse for 4 months?
No, I mean it wasn't. It was like an outhouse, but it had a flush.
It was a real
But it
toilet,
was like-
but not attached.
But
to
it
the-
was not attached, and so like in the middle of the night, you get up and you have to go and you go outside.
Okay,
and
listen. Did
it's
you have a
kinda
coffee
scary.
can for those nights when it was raining?
Yes, I did. Not a coffee
Would you
can. It
sell
was like
that?
this. It was like a big milk bucket or something.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a
I
big
know.
pan?
You just and dump it out the next day.
Oh, that's great.
But if you had to go number 2, then you had no choice.
Oh, I thought that's what you meant.
No.
Oh.
I wouldn't.
Jim
I
wanted to
wouldn't
know if
do
you had
that.
any of the coffee cans left. He's a collector.
Oh no! What?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, no.
Gross.
Well, no, not for dirty purposes. I just display them on my mantle.
He just loves celebrity memorabilia.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, yeah. I have a Gaga log from Ontario.
Gaga log.
He was
Nice.
looking for some Skylar Wood shits.
Oh my god.
That's it. Yeah, I told him it was
guys.
inappropriate.
Yeah,
But
I admire the fact that you're willing to do that. Like I'm so weird. Like I literally have to be in a hotel or in my own house. I can't live rustic like
You
that.
could
I can't
though.
do it.
You would
When-
freak out for the first 2 weeks, and then you would feel like a resident of the woods. And I started talking to myself out there, and like talking to the animals and the trees, and it was really fun.
Were you in a relationship at the time?
No, because when I lost my record deal, I also lost my relationship. It all just like when it rains, it pours.
right, your
Yeah.
life
It was like,
imploded.
I thought I might as well die or go to live in a cabin in the woods and challenge myself to see if I can survive that.
Did you dump them, or did they dump you because you lost your record deal? It wasn't. Or
Oh,
you,
it had nothing to do with that.
okay, okay.
It was just everything at the same
It all
time.
happened at the
Happened.
same time, and
Yeah.
it was awful. But then I wrote a song called "Love the Way You Lie,"
Right.
And my whole life did a 180.
So let me ask you. So you write this song. You didn't write that in the woods.
Yeah.
You wrote it in the woods.
Yeah.
That's probably why you went there, to clear your head and get a little thinking
Well,
done.
I had really
Don't
bad
act like
writer's
you're an
block.
artist, Jim,
No,
and you
you're
understand.
so right.
Of course, he doesn't know. He thinks woods. He goes, "Did you pick leaves?" I understand what the woods are about.
You're so right, though. I went there.
I didn't think you picked leaves for the record.
Picked leaves?
Yeah,
No,
that's what he does.
I didn't think that.
Yeah, he's dumb. I knew.
I'm not dumb.
No, I went there to find myself because I had writer's block really bad, and so I went there to like reconnect with my passion for music and life and whatever, figure out who I wanted to be. And the first song that came out of that was "Love the Way You Lie."
So when "Love the Way You Lie" becomes this like monster hit, are you like, oh fuck, I wish I had sang it? Like I always wonder about that with songwriters.
No, because
Who
I
sang
think
it?
there's nothing
Rihanna and
better.
Eminem.
Like Rihanna and Eminem are like the two biggest,
Of course.
artists in the world, and that's probably why the song drew so much attention in the first place. Was because it's like, oh my gosh, nobody ever imagined that he would do a song with Rihanna. I think it was like a surprise, like wow, this is crazy. And so the second his album came out, that song jumped to #1 like instantly on iTunes. People are freaking out. I don't think that would have happened if it was me singing it.
So once the industry finds out about that song, are you then like a songwriter in demand?
Yes.
Because it's like she wrote a single, she can write singles.
Everybody was calling me, I want "Love the Way You Lie" Part 9.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I was like, it was a lot of pressure though. Because people wanted me to deliver a hit every time, and I'm like, it doesn't work like that, you know?
Were you trying to keep things that like were kind of similar to that? Like, were you trying to kind of keep?
I used to love the way you lie, but now I hate the way you.
Yeah. I hate the way you truth. It's just not the same thing. It's not. We're not feeling it.
Yeah, this is not good.
Oh my gosh, you guys are hilarious.
It's hard to write for other people. Like I hate writing for other people. I only write to. I don't want to give away anything good, and B, I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to speak in their voice. I don't know how people write for other people. It's hard to do.
Plus, they get mad at you when nobody laughs at the jokes.
I mean, that's the most obvious point, but that kind of goes without saying. I write, really, like I said, really bad jokes on purpose. Hopefully they do it and bomb.
But when I write a song, I always think of it as a song for myself, even if I'm writing it for somebody else. And then sometimes it works for somebody else.
Do you write better when you're miserable? I can't really write as much stuff when I'm happy. It usually comes out of feeling shitty. So do you write better stuff when you're feeling shitty?
Yeah. Well, not when I'm feeling shitty, but like after feeling shitty.
Reflecting on it?
Reflecting on it, yeah.
You can't be in the middle of it.
Hindsight is 20/20, you know? And if I'm in the middle of it, it's too confusing. I don't know what's going on.
Do you talk ideas into like your Siri or something? Like, all right, this would be a good idea for a song. Or do you actually just sit down with paper and go, okay, here, it's time to write it?
It's different every time. But I do keep a little notepad of ideas, in my phone. But most of the time I just feel it. I start with the music and then lyrics kind of just flow. Were
you writing songs for other people before "Love the Way You Lie" and all this started?
No.
So, were you worried at all that you were going to be like, I don't want to just be considered a songwriter. Like, I want to be a singer. I want to be a star. Or are you just so happy to get?
It was a little weird because it was like I wasn't expecting that career route, being a songwriter for other people. But I embraced it, and now it's paying my bills, so I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the money is in recording now, right?
For sure.
In the songwriting.
Yeah.
When you wrote it, how did they get their hands on it? Did you say like, okay, this is for you two, or did you write it and someone at Interscope went, I think he should do this?
Well, at the time, I wasn't signed or anything, and I had just met the producer of the song. I met him over email, and so because there was an internet cafe not in the woods, but by the woods that I would drive to, and so. I wrote that hook, sent it to him. He was in New York, and then somehow he got it to Eminem, and then Eminem did his part, and then Rihanna recorded her part in Dublin, and the whole song was created with people that were never in the same room together. We'd never met each other in person before, none of us, which is so crazy technology.
Have you met them since?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we performed on the Grammys together.
What was that? What is it like? Because I always wonder about that because you've had a lot of high profile performances. You did the Grammys, like you said. You've done WrestleMania with P. Diddy.
Yeah, that's so weird.
It's weird, right?
Are you a wrestling fan?
I kind of now.
Now you are, right?
Joke.
Yeah, no, she is.
Kind of as a joke though.
Yeah.
Like not really.
Like ironically.
Yeah. Totally ironically.
I get where this is stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. But I get like the best seats in the house, and
Right.
it's fun, like to just like get really amped up about.
It probably makes like a lot of like real wrestling fans like very upset Because you're
What?
like, well, I'm just here because I think it's stupid but fun. And they're like, well, we would love to have your seat. You know what I mean?
Maybe I shouldn't have admitted that.
Yeah.
Now the wrestling blogs won't pick that up. Don't worry. They'll never notice it.
But I performed at WrestleMania 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
I'm like, why do you guys keep calling me back?
Where did you perform? In the
like,
ring?
No, I brought John Cena and The Rock out one time. So it was like that stage where they have like the fireworks.
Right,
and
okay.
Jim went to a WrestleMania one year, but he didn't stay for John Cena and The Rock because he wanted to beat the traffic.
Yeah.
So he decided to leave early before.
Oh my god!
I wanted to see. We've interviewed so many wrestlers. I don't really watch it, but I wanted to see what they did because I like those guys so much. It was fun to watch.
Right, but
I
Nana
was in
wanted-
traffic. It was chilly. It was outdoors in Giant Stadium in
Right.
September. How about August, Vince?
It's in
it was
March.
fucking whatever it was.
But it's
chilly.
April. Yeah, it was a little chilly.
It was nippy.
Yeah, and were you part of the mad rush to exit the stadium?
No, I didn't. I whistled. We relaxed. Took a nice walk.
It's just you.
There was no one leaving. No one. I couldn't find my car. It was in a sea of cars. I was so happy to miss it.
But what's it like to perform with, like, I guess with P. Diddy to start with? Like, when is it tough? Does he have a certain way of doing things? Like, do you have to be like, okay, whatever you want? Like, what is that like? Is he a perfectionist?
Well, it's kind of a funny story, actually. We were doing sound check for that performance, and I was asking for things in my ear, my monitors, like more bass, like, because I need certain things to be able to sing. And he would just be like, yeah, me too. And like, does he not know what he wants in his ears? Like, does he not know what he...
No, he
It was
doesn't
so
care.
weird.
He just wants whatever the
and
singer's
then
got.
we get off stage and he's like, how do you know what to ask for?
Really?
So I don't know. Everybody's different to perform with. He's so fun.
He
to
is
me,
fun?
anyway. Yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Wow, that's funny.
We laugh a lot, and
Yeah, good for him to admit that.
But P. Diddy's like, I don't know what to like,
it was
it's just like, if I can hear
so
it, it's
precious.
fine.
It was so precious.
When you
that
put
he
your
was like-
headphones on, did he go, oh, that's where those go?
No, it was so sweet.
Yeah.
He's super nice. I love him.
But no part of you was like, he's sold like millions of records and he doesn't even know how to monitor music at all.
Oh no. I mean, I don't think that's the case. It was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just weird.
What about Eminem? How is he to perform with and kind of work with?
He's awesome too.
Is he?
In a totally different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is he in a different way? He's like a more.
He's a perfectionist, I think.
He is.
Yeah.
Oh, he knows what he wants.
Yeah, for sure.
He knows what to ask for in his earpiece.
Yeah.
Well, which is easier for you though, because if someone is telling you exactly what they want, you don't have to wonder. There's no vagueness to it. You kind of know this is how it's going to be done.
Yeah. He's really great to work with. I've learned so much working with him, for sure.
You have.
Yeah, for sure.
What difference is it when you, like, at this point in your career now, that you've kind of experienced everything, you've taken all these weird turns, and you've figured out that, like, or I'm assuming you've figured out that maybe your plan isn't necessarily what's going to pan out. You just kind of have to go with what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it like? Are you chasing fame now at all? Do you
No.
look at success differently? No.
Totally. Totally look at it differently. When I was a kid, I was super ambitious and thought if I had money and success and fame and whatever, I would be happy.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like every time I have those little fleeting moments of success, it's fleeting. It's there one day, really high, and then you get rejected the next day, and it sucks. And so I realized that I couldn't base my happiness on any of that stuff. And that's one of the reasons I live in Utah in the mountains, because I just like to enjoy every day of my life, see a beautiful mountain view, hang out with my dog. Like, that to me is the key to happiness.
So you retreat.
And just like enjoying a moment and finding the beauty in every moment. I feel like that's what happiness is about. And then if you get successful along the way, that's cool. That's awesome. But like, I don't base my...
Yeah, your
You know what I
happiness
mean?
on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Utah. I've been to Utah. I've spent a decent amount of time there. It was more fun than I would have thought, even though it's very quiet. Just walking around,
Where'd
it's
you go?
clean.
Park City?
Salt Lake.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's the only place in Utah I've been to a few times, but it's beautiful and it's nice to be there. I don't know if I could live there though.
Yeah.
It's too quiet.
Yeah.
Well, I live in Park City, which is only 7,500 people.
Wow.
So it's even more quiet than Salt Lake.
You like your solitude.
Yeah, for sure.
But don't people know that you're there then? Like, aren't you the famous person who lives in Salt Lake or whatever?
Well, no, there's a ton of way more successful people than me living in
That's
my
just
area.
a place
In
where
Park
people go to
City.
retreat.
It's kind of like the Beverly Hills of Utah.
I got you.
It's like
Yeah.
Alpine, New Jersey.
Yeah, but I did have
Yeah,
a,
yeah.
I did have a stalker come knock on my door one time.
Really?
Yeah, And then that made, local radio and news. Like,
Was he a stalker or a fan? I mean,
well,
Once he follows you
fan.
home and knocks on your
Fan,
door.
But yeah, it's weird when you come to my house.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
creepy.
it's a gated community, and you walk in because you can't drive in, and so you like hiked on trails to get to my house.
That's
Okay.
stalker
and
territory.
he did it twice.
That's
so,
stalker.
So the first time it happened, it was just weird. We sent him away. The second time was a month later, and he drove all the way from Wisconsin, to
God.
Utah to
Were
do
you
it
alone?
twice. No, I was at home with my husband. But the second time it happened, it was 3 a.m. and my husband was asleep. So I was just like up working in the house, and then I got this text from somebody who keeps an eye on my social media, and he was like, "Hey, you better watch out. I think your stalker's in your neighborhood." And sure enough, he was because he had tweeted something about being there. And so we got up and got all the cops, like they were all eating donuts at the 7-Eleven down the street. And I was like, hey, my stalker's in the neighborhood. They put their searchlights all over the hills. They found him on foot again, walking to my house.
That's fucking creepy. How does your husband react to that?
That's
to
what I was
have
gonna
your wife
ask.
the target of somebody who's trying to talk to her or whatever has
I
got to
feel
be
like I'd be
frustrating for him.
murderous. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably freaks out more than I do, actually.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some guns though in the
Oh,
house.
good.
So and security cameras and alarms.
So
and
you're
all that
ready.
Stuff.
What does he do?
I'm pretty prepared. What?
What's your husband do?
He's my manager.
Oh, okay. So he understands everything about the
yeah.
business. All right, that's really good. So what happened when the stalker the second time? The cops did they
arrested him.
for what?
Well, so it's a kind of a long story, but basically he tried again then the same night to get back to my house.
That's creepy.
And so it was the third time that they arrested him.
What does he think's gonna happen? Like, what do stalkers think?
Because I think, but what I was gonna say is, the first time it happens, you can't do anything.
Sure.
It's like the second or third time when they repeat offenses, then you can arrest them.
Right, because then it's like a
They
habit.
didn't have anything on him. They searched his car, tried to find drugs, tried to find something to pin him for, and they couldn't the first time, So they had to wait for him to do it again.
Your husband
and again.
probably hopes that he gets into the house so he can shoot him, and then be done with him.
I don't think
Oh,
my
Sam.
husband's ever gonna.
for him,
be able
that's
to use
always
a
the
gun on
answer. Though
someone.
Sam just always wants to shoot people.
You think that's-
That's just
I would
always-
probably be the one to shoot somebody, but
I don't understand men's mentality or people's mentality to show up at someone's house. What the fuck do you think's gonna happen?
It's
Yeah.
so deranged. Like you got to be off somewhere
well,
so
I think
far off.
I think we found out that he might be schizophrenic because he
Right.
was talking to voices in his head that said I wanted him to be there and all that stuff.
But what do you think? Like you're gonna open the door at 3 a.m. and go, "Hi, what's your name?" Oh, you're kind of cute. Come on in. Like
Yeah.
how does that work out?
Oh, good. The voice has got to you. Yeah. I was hoping you'd come.
Yeah, I've been sending you messages, telepathy.
Yeah.
Mental illness is one thing, but you know what? Hey, the person knew enough to park outside the gated community. He didn't just
Well-
drive through the gate. He's not that crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's why the judge let him go. After they kept him in jail for 2 weeks, and they were like, "We can't keep you here anymore. If you're competent enough to make it out from Wisconsin to find our house and
Yeah.
get here, then you should be able to survive outside of these bars, But his mom, because the kid was 21, and his mom didn't want him to get out of jail. She was like,
She's like,
"Don't
I
leave him in there."
I can't handle him anymore. Just lock him up, and I won't have to worry about him at all.
Well, she's probably just tired of him playing your records really loud. Records. How old am I? An old man reference.
Put the turntable away.
I'm the worst.
How long have you been married for?
I'm not married.
Not you.
Oh.
Jim gets confused
I can't
sometimes.
remember.
You can't remember? So you're not the romantic one in the
Well,
relationship?
Jesus,
no,
not at all.
really not.
She wants to do the shooting, and I don't know. Ask him. That's
Yeah.
good
I
for
don't
you.
know.
A while. I don't know.
See, my ring is even like a gangster ring. It's
It
not.
literally is.
Wow.
It's a
It's a men's
giant
ring.
It's a tissue box size ring.
Yeah.
With diamonds on it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Wow.
So
You must have been really happy to get a new manager, I guess, since you.
Yeah, it worked out well for you.
Oh, well, see, he was my boyfriend or whatever before he was my manager.
And you're like,
I
fuck
was
it, let's
like-
just us do it.
Well, because I knew that he would have the most vested interest and care the most,
Is
what
it
I was
weird
doing.
though? Like, because Ozzy and Sharon, you're constantly intertwined.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a lot for
It
sure.
is, right?
Yeah, I don't think it would work for a lot of people.
do you get sick
we
of each
make it
other?
work.
Like, if you're fighting, if you're say you're arguing about something in personal life, and then you go to the business, like, all right, we got to talk about this gig. How do you separate them?
It kind of all blends together, but we don't really argue.
That's good.
Yeah.
So I've never been in one like that.
You haven't?
No, I've
Well, you're
never been in a
very-
relationship that wasn't volatile. That must be so nice.
You're a very highly strung person, is the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm difficult.
Right.
And I attract crazy people.
Right, and you love them. You love crazy people. That's the problem.
I do. Because sane people Google me and they're like, no. You're a creep.
It's kind of all that there's left. Well, listen, everybody, Skylar Grey's new album is out now. It's called Natural Causes. You can tweet her at Skylar Grey, Skylar Grey. So if you're going to be in her neighborhood, and you think she wants you to stop by, make sure you tweet before you come.
Yeah.
And you'll have a whole welcome party there for you.
Exactly. Stop over and have a bullet sandwich.
Well, great. Now people are going to know that like we look at that stuff. And so if there are stalkers coming, they're not going to tweet. And then
That's
I'll be
right.
surprised.
Yeah, but there's still
and
cameras.
That's scarier.
There's still cameras in the neighborhood, and it's a gated community. It's obviously not that easy to get in.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
get the album, Natural Causes. And Skylar, thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you.
That was fun.